Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not my problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem.
But it's certainly someone's problem. Last night, Jen, I got a phone call from my daughter Emily's boyfriend, Nick. And he told me...
Not to be confused with Kelly's husband, Nick.
Right. It would be really weird if my daughter was dating her father. So, yeah. Totally different Nick.
Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that in case there was any confusion.
Totally different Nick.
Because sometimes I get confused when she's like, well, Nick did this. And I'm like, which Nick?
We call Emily's Nick Jr.
Okay.
And last night, Nick Jr. called me. And he said that he has been listening to our podcast.
Yay.
And that he absolutely loves it. And he laughs the entire time.
Oh.
And I thought that was pretty cool. So thank you, Nick Jr. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Nick Jr. And Nick Jr. should not be confused with the TV program called Nick Jr. because that is where my mind went as soon as you said Nick Jr.
When I was pregnant with the kids, Nick asked if we could name a child Nick Jr. because he thought it would be funny because of Nick Jr. on Nickelodeon. And I said, absolutely no way. I was like, if you want to name him Nicholas, we have to use a different middle name so he's not a junior. Like, if you want him to have your first name, that's fine. But no, I'm not doing a Nick Jr. I won't do that to my kid.
I'm not a fan of juniors.
I am not either. I would like my kid to have their own name.
Yeah, me too. I mean, not that I have kids or plan on having kids, but I don't know. I've just never been a fan of juniors. I think it gets really confusing.
I do too. And my mom, when I was pregnant, she was like, if he wants a junior, you got to let him have a junior. And I'm like, hey, get the hell out of my marriage. Why don't you go worry about yourself?
One of the reasons, one of the many, you no longer speak to your mother.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be very, very low on the totem pole of reasons. I don't talk to my mom, but
there's a very long list.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It is part of a pattern.
Exactly.
So,
welcome to our scripted, unscripted banter.
Yes, welcome. We're probably not going to tell you what time we poop again today.
No.
That was probably a one-off. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah. So they already know. We told them last week how consistent we were, so.
True. We don't really need to update. If there's any new developments, maybe we'll update you at a later time.
We'll let you know if that changes ever.
I do have a question for you today, Jen.
Do you? I am so surprised.
I know. I never have questions for you.
Never.
What historical figure, and historical figure is, I'm going to say anybody dead.
Okay.
So it can be recently dead, but on all the way back, okay?
And like someone famous.
Right.
Not like a friend. Not that I really have any dead friends.
Right. So what historical figure would you go on a date with?
Oh.
I know.
Wow. That's a tricky one. You go first.
I'm going to say Jesus. He's got some powers, man.
That's a pretty good answer, especially if he can turn water into wine.
Right. What else can that man do?
That's true. God, I don't know. You just throw this one on me. I need to think of something quick.
Any celebrities that have recently passed away that... No?
I mean, the first one that popped into my head, and this is only because I have a very big crush on his son, would be Steve Irwin because, again,
right,
huge crush on his son. But would that be weird?
No, because Steve in of himself was just
Oh, he was.
wonderful.
He was.
He was wonderful.
Yeah. He would compliment me all of the time. I just know it. I know he
All the
would.
time. Yeah,
All the time.
he would.
He would. He would just tell me
Every
how
day.
beautiful I was constantly.
Yeah.
So,
When you felt
yeah,
bad about yourself, he would talk you up.
absolutely.
It would be great. That's
It
a
was
great
great.
answer. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like it.
Yeah.
His wife might fight you for him, but yeah.
Yeah, and I love her. So I really this is a total hypothetical. I don't wanna come in
Mhm.
between those 2 because she's amazing, and they
Right.
together gave us Robert, so,
They did.
yeah. They made a beautiful baby. And, I mean, Bindy's gorgeous too, so they made 2 very, very pretty people.
They really did.
Yeah, they did.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna jump into our introduction for this episode.
Okay.
Okay. There's a place tucked deep in the mountains of West Virginia where time hasn't just stopped, it lingers. Its walls have seen everything: luxury and laughter, disease and death, and the slow fade of forgotten lives. First, a resort for the elite, then, a tuberculosis hospital, then a nursing home for the unwanted. Now, it's something else entirely. People say it's haunted. People say it watches you. People say the silence there has a weight to it, like it remembers every name, even the ones history forgot. Tonight, we're walking the crumbling halls of Sweet Springs Sanitarium, a place where the line between memory and haunting isn't just thin. It might not exist at all. So grab your IV bag, your holy water, and a flashlight. Sweet Springs was for the dying, the discarded, and now the dead. But
I'm
first,
excited. Can I
oh, go ahead.
talk about the episode? Jeez, gosh, you're just jumping right in.
I thought it was my episode, but
It
go
is
ahead.
your episode, but we need to banter a little more because,
I'm sure it's people's favorite part is the
yeah,
banter,
absolutely. I'm
of
excited
course.
for this episode because obviously Project Fear went there twice, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that.
I
Yeah,
might.
I figured we usually do, but I'm
We
excited
usually
because
do.
this place is terrifying.
It is one of those places that always delivers
Yeah,
and delivers in terrifying ways most of the time, too.
terrifying. Because we just
Yeah.
recently rewatched that episode,
Right.
like right after Paracon.
Yeah. I watch a lot of their episodes again.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, "What was that again? Where did they go here?" And what
Yeah.
I just like the show, guys. I just like it.
They have a good rewatch value.
They do.
It's great.
They do.
It's one of my comfort shows.
Same. Okay, so we're gonna do some facts about West Virginia.
Okay.
I do not think that I have used these in my other episode about what was it? I guess Trans-Allegheny. I
Yeah.
don't think these are the same facts.
Considering how small the state of West Virginia is, they've got a lot of really famous haunted locations.
They really do. And big one they're big too.
Yeah,
They're not like
exactly.
little tiny ones. They're
No.
multiple big locations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start with some fun facts.
Okay.
West Virginia split from Virginia in 1863 after deciding it didn't vibe with the Confederacy.
That's fair.
It's the only state to form by seceding from a Confederate state. So the Confederacy conceded from the Union
Yeah.
states. So this is the only one that I can't seceded, sorry, from the Confederacy.
Yeah. I feel like I knew that, but I don't know.
I didn't. I
Okay.
should have. I knew that they seceded, but I didn't realize that it was I just never put the thought into it.
Yeah.
That would have been the only time. Yeah. Okay, and the New River Gorge, which is actually one of the oldest rivers geologically, is where modern whitewater rafting was born. It's also a national park now.
Oh, fun.
I wonder how they started whitewater rafting. Somebody was like, "Look at all that dangerous water. Let's get a raft.
Yeah.
See what happens."
I've only been whitewater rafting once, and it was on, like, a man-made, like, thing specifically set up for
Mm,
whitewater rafting out in Deep Creek,
okay.
Maryland, and our raft definitely flipped over, and we all got in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
No, I mean, they had a lot of people because like, it was kind of like a course almost, so there was a lot of people around to help, and they went over what to do if that happens and how to, like, not swim, just get on your back 'cause we had life jackets. Just, like, float on your back, and you'll like, the way that the current, it will push you to the side. So they prepped us on exactly what to do, and then the guy, because we were with a guide, obviously, and then he would bring the raft back over and get everybody. It was
That would be
cold,
fun.
though. It was Memorial Day weekend
That would be
in
cold.
yeah, in Deep Creek, Maryland, so
Yeah, that would
up
be
in the
cold.
mountains. Yeah, it was very cold.
I think it would be funny trying to watch my fat ass trying to get back in the raft. Anyway, our last fun fact is in Green Bank, West Virginia, home of the Green Bank Telescope, the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope. Because of its sensitivity, there's a radio quiet zone around it, which means no Wi Fi, no Bluetooth, no cell service. It's like stepping into the 1980s on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Listen, the 1980s was fucking fantastic. Those were good years.
I
You
wouldn't
wouldn't know
know.
because you weren't here,
No.
but I was, and they were awesome. So we have some scary facts.
Okay.
Aside from the famous Mothman of Point Pleasant, the state has legends of Flatwood Monster, Sheep Squatch, and Ogwa, a water beast the size of a buffalo. Basically, it's a cryptid theme park.
What the fuck is a sheep squash?
I don't know, but it sounds like something that might need an episode.
It was. I'm immediately just picturing a crossover between a sheep and a Sasquatch.
Well, you never know. I don't kink shame. All right. Thermont, West Virginia is a near abandoned town with a history of fires, floods, and train crashes. Parts of it have been submerged or isolated by the New River only to reemerge eerily intact, like it's just waiting for the next visitor. And finally, in Pocahontas County, there's a rock formation where local legends say the devil himself drinks tea at midnight.
Oh,
People claim that if you sit or step on it disrespectfully, you'll suffer from nightmares.
I kinda wanna go have tea with the devil.
So do I. I mean,
I
come
mean,
on.
that kinda sounds fun.
I gotta make Jesus jealous.
Yeah. I'm curious enough that I would go there at midnight with my cup of tea.
I would too.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the list.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So the origins of Sweet Springs go way, way back. We're talking 1760 when a man named Jesse Moss settled the area. But the real transformation came in 1774 when the Revolutionary War veteran William Lewis, yes, the brother of the great General Andrew Lewis, acquired the land.
Am I supposed to know who that person is?
I mean, if you know your history,
Okay.
just gonna be completely honest here. I don't remember him either. So,
Okay. Just making sure he wasn't, like, somebody
yeah,
really big.
I might have to, maybe if I heard more about what he did, then I might
Yeah,
piece it together, but just the
maybe.
name isn't popping.
Okay.
So, what caught his eye? The springs. Natural, mineral rich, bubbling waters that people believed had healing powers. So he did what any early American entrepreneur might do. He turned it into a destination, hotel and spa. Before it was known for ghosts, whispers, and abandoned halls. You got to move the phone over. That's perfect. That has to go in the episode pictures.
For those who are wondering what the fuck we're talking about, I just asked ChatGPT to make a sheep squash. It did not disappoint, guys.
No, it did not.
It is exactly what I was picturing in my brain, and I will
Yep,
post it on social media for this episode. So go check out a sheep squash.
sure. Okay, I was trying to figure out where I was again.
Sorry, I distracted her.
That's all right.
I do that a lot.
Before it was known for ghosts, whispers, and abandoned halls, Sweet Springs was one of the most fashionable places to be seen in the early United States. That's right, we're talking powdered wigs, parasols, and mineral water with a hint of sulfur. We'll start when it wasn't a sanitarium at all, but a hotel and spa and a playground for American high society. Let's set the scene. The year is 1792. The United States is a baby nation, and out in what's now Monroe County, West Virginia, a Revolutionary War vet named William Lewis had big plans for a bubbling mineral spring tucked into the hills. People already believed these springs had healing powers. They called them sweet because of their taste, less bitter than others in the region. So Lewis built a hotel, not a rickety roadside inn, but a proper resort, attracting the sick, the wealthy, and the socially ambitious.
Wait,
And the
attracting
guest list?
the sick?
Mhm. Yes, because
Attracting
the spring was said to have healing powers.
Oh, okay.
So
I was
people
like,
would come.
okay. I
Yeah.
was confused for a second. I was like, why are sick people going to a rich, fancy? But okay, now it makes sense. Thank you.
And the guest list, it was stacked. George and Martha Washington reportedly visit. So did James Madison and Dolly, Chief Justice John Marshall, General Lafayette,
Oh, Lafayette.
even even Napoleon's brother, Jerome Bonaparte, is said to have stopped by. Presidents Millard Fillmore and Franklin Pierce made appearances too. The springs weren't just about health, they were about status. People came for their summer season, hoping the waters would cure everything from arthritis to digestive troubles, or at least provide an excuse to dance, drink, and gossip in style. Sounds wonderful. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to go drink some of this water, see if my back would stop hurting, but I could also drink and dance and gossip in style. Not
Yeah.
dance vigorously, because again, my back is really hurting.
Yeah. I have to drink a lot if you want me to dance, but I'm game.
I've seen you dance without drinking a lot.
I'm usually pretty drunk when I'm dancing.
I'll choose to believe you. Considering it's you and you would know you, you
I
know.
would.
Picture Southern high society in the 1800s. Ladies in hoop skirts taking the waters, gentlemen arguing politics on the veranda, and carriages arriving with trunks of linen and china. It was like a posh health retreat crossed with a debutante ball.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Then in the 1830s, Sweet Springs got a major upgrade. A grand three-story brick hotel was constructed, what we now call the Jefferson Building, built in Jeffersonian classical style. It featured massive columns, long porches, and sweeping views of the mountains. It was elegant, refined, and expensive to maintain.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah. The resort stayed popular well until the mid 1800s, though it began to face competition from newer, more accessible destinations as the railroads expanded. The Civil War disrupted the Southern leisure class, and though Union troops camped nearby in 1864, the buildings themselves were not damaged in the Civil War. But after the war, the resort
After the
world
war, we
was
went back to New York.
after the war, the resort world was changing. More Americans were traveling by train, and the springs, as beautiful as they were, became harder to fill with guests. The hotel shifted owners, struggled financially, and gradually lost its shine. By the early 1900s, the heyday was over. What had once been a glittering sanctuary for presidents, generals, and European nobility would eventually become something much darker: a tuberculosis hospital, a nursing home, and a ghost story. But in those early days, Sweet Springs wasn't scary. It was sacred, celebrated, and for a brief glittering moment, it was a place where America came to heal.
Where the rich America came to
Rich
heal.
America. Right.
Yeah. Not those poor people.
I feel like that doesn't even need to be said when we're talking about America.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. By the mid 1900s, the elegant ballrooms of Sweet Springs had gone quiet. The silver was packed away. The Grand Hotel, once known for curing the worries of the elite, had become a very different kind of place. After nearly a century as one of Virginia's and later West Virginia's most luxurious mineral resorts, Sweet Springs couldn't keep up. The wars had changed everything, so had medicine. So had money. By the early 20th century, the resort era was fading, but the building still stood and the spring still flowed. In 1942, Sweet Springs was repurposed, this time not for rest and recreation, but for treatment and survival. It became a sanitarium for tuberculosis patients. Tuberculosis, otherwise known as the White Plague, was still a serious threat in the 1940s. Antibiotics were just emerging, but sanatorium care was still common, especially in rural America. Patients with tuberculosis were isolated for months, sometimes years. Sweet Springs' isolated location made it ideal. The fresh air, the quiet, and the open land was believed to be conditions that could help people heal. But the grand hotel rooms, they weren't so grand anymore. Crisp linens were replaced with sterile bedding. Chandeliers collected dust. The Jefferson Building became a ward, not a retreat. And the people inside were very, very sick.
So wait, they still had, like, all the chandeliers and shit up while it's, like, a tuberculosis ward?
Yeah.
That's gotta
Yeah,
be
but
wild.
they weren't well maintained.
Right, that's gotta be wild, and
Yeah.
I don't know because 'cause I'm not a doctor, but I would imagine big chandeliers collecting dust is not great for people that have tuberculosis.
Yeah, I don't know how far medicine had come along at that point, so
But okay.
because I'm not versed on my medical history.
Really? I'm disappointed.
I'd have to find an older doctor, I think,
Yeah.
that
Now I
could,
expected you
you
to,
know.
like, go and get your degree and become a doctor to be able to speak on this episode.
Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm done. And
Awesome.
now you can call me Doctor Evans. Most patients didn't just come here to get better, they came here to wait. Some did recover, but many did not. Stories from this period describe the building as hushed and heavy. Visitors spoke in whispers, windows were always cracked open, and the nurses moved like ghosts themselves. And while there isn't much surviving documentation about the daily life during the tuberculosis years, one thing is clear: Sweet Springs became a place of endings, not beginnings.
Aw.
In 1945, the state of West Virginia purchased the Sweet Springs property and gave it a new name, the Andrew S. Rowan Memorial Home, named after a Spanish American war veteran famous for delivering a message to Cuban rebels. But while the name sounded heroic, the day to day life at the Rowan home was much more subdued. The facility was converted to serve the elderly, primarily men at first, many of them veterans or individuals without families to care for them. Over time, it expanded to house both men and women and functioned as a long term care facility for people with chronic illnesses or disabilities. It was a quiet life. Residents lived in the old Jefferson building, once filled with the laughter of 19th century socialites, now echoing with wheelchairs, nurses' shoes, and the shuffle of time passing slowly.
Wait, so how
Like
long was it a tuberculosis ward for?
hold on, in 1942, it became the tuberculosis ward, and then in 1945 is when West Virginia turned it into the nursing home,
Oh,
so just
wow.
a
So,
couple of years.
yeah, it was not a
Once
tuberc for not that long.
No, because the antibiotics, the treatment for it was then developed,
Okay,
so
okay,
then they didn't have a need for it.
that makes sense.
Like many state-run homes in the mid-20th century, the Rowan Memorial Home did what it could with limited resources. Staff cared for residents, meals were served in the old dining halls, and life settled into a slow, unchanging rhythm. There are no scandalous headlines, no major disasters, but for nearly 50 years, people lived there. They laughed, cried, aged, and passed on in the same place. And some say they never really left.
I mean, that sounds like a decent place. Doesn't sound like too many bad things were happening.
In the late 18th and 19th century, the resort relied heavily on enslaved individuals for
God
construction,
damn it.
maintenance, and daily operations.
Well, fuck. That's one
Yep.
quick way to prove me wrong, Kelly.
These individuals were responsible for building the original structures, tending to the grounds, and serving guests, preparing meals, and ensuring the smooth functioning of the resort. Their labor was integral to the resort's success and reputation as a luxury destination. The enslaved individuals at Sweet Springs were housed in specific structures designated as the slave quarters. Notably, a brick building located directly behind the central building served this purpose. The building was originally constructed to accommodate enslaved workers, but was later repurposed as a bachelor's quarter after the abolition of slavery. The basement of the main hotel building was a hub for activity containing the kitchen, where obviously the meals were prepared, the bar, storerooms used for storing their foods and supplies, offices such as administrative spaces for managing the resort's operations. Reception rooms were there, so they had two designated rooms for receiving guests, one for the ladies and another for the gentlemen.
Okay.
These facilities were crucial for the daily operations of the resort and were staffed by the enslaved individuals who lived in the nearby quarters. Understanding the role of enslaved labor at Sweet Springs Sanitarium provides a more comprehensive view of its history, highlighting the contributions and hardships of those who were instrumental in its establishment and its operations. And quite frankly, we need to acknowledge
Yeah,
that a lot more in this country.
absolutely.
You ready for some ghost stories?
Actually, no, I'm not. I'll pass.
No.
I'll pass
Yeah. All
on
right.
the ghost stories.
All right. Well, I'm going to go eat dinner.
Okay.
Visitors today claim the energy in Sweet Springs shifted during the nursing home era. Wasn't gloomy like a tuberculosis hospital or glamorous like the resort. It was resigned. The spirits people report seeing, they don't scream, they don't throw things. They simply appear and vanish, as if still waiting for a visitor.
Oh,
Yeah.
just break my heart.
Or simply confused that the world moved on without them.
God, you just you're breaking my heart over here.
Okay, now listen, I'm a lot older than you, so when I'm in a nursing home, you better visit me because I see this reaction you're having.
Of course I will.
Can't forget about me.
I will
You gotta
never.
bring me my wine.
Of course. That's
Right,
that's why you have a younger friend that can
right,
sneak the wine in very creative ways to the nursing home.
right. I like it. There are reports of shadowy figures in the corner of what were once residents' rooms, disembodied voices calling for nurses, wheelchairs found moving across rooms, and lights flickering in areas without power.
That's unusual.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Mhm.
Some investigators believe these aren't angry spirits, they're just lingering. Echoes of people who lived their final years in that building and may not even know that they're gone.
So not intelligent haunts, more residual.
Maybe, yeah.
So, we know there are definitely some intelligent haunts there as well.
True. We're stepping behind the main hotel and into a red brick structure that has been standing since the 1800s. Hot trees.
I don't know.
I wonder if that's more or less than 100.
Maybe.
I don't know. Ah, hundreds is the feminine of 100.
Ah, okay.
Ugh. And we are feminists on this podcast.
Yes, so it is officially hundreds.
Really, it's the 1800s. Before it was called the Jefferson Building, before it was even the sanitarium, it was the slave quarters. The building sits behind the main structure, small, unassuming. But like we said, it was once home to the enslaved people who built, maintained, and ran the resort. They cooked the meals, cleaned the halls, tended the grounds, and served the guests. Often the very same ones who owned them. They didn't stay in the Grand Hotel. They weren't even kept in the basement, where the kitchens and storerooms buzzed with activities. They lived in that small brick building tucked just out of sight, forgotten by most tourists, remembered by the wall. Paranormal investigators who have visited the former slave quarters have reported some of the most visceral activity on the entire property. So they've found disembodied footsteps moving across the wooden floors where no one's inside, whispers in low, unintelligible tones, sometime overlapping as if multiple voices are speaking at once.
Okay.
They get knocks on the wall in response to questions during EVP sessions, particularly when people ask about names or freedom. There are sudden temperature drops, even in the summer heat. One investigator claimed it was like a wave of sadness walked through me.
Oh.
And perhaps the most disturbing, sightings of a shadowy figure that lingers in the doorway, not aggressive, just watching. Some teams refuse to spend too much time in the slave quarters, not out of fear, but out of respect. The energy is heavy. Some investigators describe it as dense with grief. Others have left in tears, reporting overwhelming feelings of sadness, pain, or helplessness with no clear trigger.
I don't like that.
Mm-mm. One story that's been passed around comes from a team that left a recorder during an overnight. They captured what sounded like chains dragging across the floor, followed by a voice saying, "Let me rest."
Oh.
Was it a residual echo, a plea, or a warning? We'll never know for sure. The truth is, many of the people who lived and died in those quarters never had their names recorded. They weren't written about in guest books or listed on ledgers, but if the stories are true, their presence lingers and it demands to be felt. So if you visit Sweet Springs and you find yourself near that quiet little building out back, listen closely, because some ghosts aren't just haunting, they're remembering. And please be respectful.
Well, right now, no one can even visit Sweet Springs.
That's right, they did just recently close it.
Yeah, the
The
previous
owner died.
yeah, the person who owned it died, and then it's closed, and there's no, like,
They don't
update on what's gonna happen, whether they're gonna open it
last
back up.
last I heard, they said they had no plans to open it back up for paranormal investigations, which, look, it's their property, they can do what
Yeah,
they want,
do
but it
what you want.
also feels like it's a bummer.
It is. It is a shame because I would love to go investigate a place like that.
So I have some activity that some of our paranormal shows or local groups have found. We're gonna
Okay,
go through that, and then I found some stories on Reddit. I think I have 2.
perfect.
A visitor recounted multiple eerie experiences during an investigation at Sweet Springs. They described hearing knocks, door slams, and bangs while alone in a hallway away from their group. They heard wrestling noises in adjacent rooms, intensifying the sense of being watched or accompanied. The show Paranormal Lockdown with Katrina Waldman and Nick Groff,
Mhm.
they did a 72-hour confinement there, and they reported capturing compelling evidence, including unexplained voices and shadow
Oh,
figures.
wow.
So some local groups that are around, when they would explore the sanitarium, they utilized equipment like EMF readers and spirit boxes. Many have had interactions such as sudden temperature drops, unexplained equipment malfunctions, and direct responses to questions posed during EVP sessions. Destination fear.
Whoa, whoa.
On Destination Fear, during their sleep alone time, both Chelsea and Tanner were in the basement, but on opposite ends. Tanner turned on his Oculus and asked, "Who is in here with me?" and got the answer, "Paul." A male
Okay.
voice was heard in the hallway behind him, and then he got the word hallway on the Oculus.
Interesting. And for those who don't know, an Ovilus is a database where it is said that the ghost can manipulate it and send words through from like a word bank.
Yeah. Tanner thought a real person was in the basement, so he went to make sure Chelsea was safe because Tanner's the protector.
Yes.
She heard the same voice. Tanner eventually went back to his spot, and then he heard a woman singing from the same hallway. He then heard a female voice that sounded like it was mocking him. At that point, the whole team is in the basement trying to figure this out, and a loud scream is heard, and it literally scared them out of the location.
Yeah.
Chelsea was repeating the phrase, "Lord, please protect me," as they were leaving the building. She was pretty terrified.
She was terrified.
So you can go find Destination Fear on what, HBO Max
Yeah.
or Discovery Plus, and you can find the episode of Sweet Springs and you can watch that.
Yeah.
And that team went back when they are Project Fear, which is their current show on
Yes.
YouTube. And you can go find that episode too.
Yeah.
So the team went back about a year ago, and the owner, Cindy, told them she was physically attacked and pushed down the stairs by an unseen entity. She mentioned that she asked the spirits if they knew who was coming back using the ghost box, and she got the names Chelsea and Tanner.
Which just blows my mind.
Right. Once inside, they sent Tanner to the basement by himself. The rest of the
Poor
team
Tanner.
went upstairs. Yeah, the rest of the team went upstairs and they were doing an EVP session. And they asked, "Do you remember us?" And captured an EVP that says, "Yes, I remember Tanner."
And it's
Terrifying.
pretty clear too.
It is. It is. It's one of those EVPs that the second it said it, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, that's it." Like you just knew. I
You
didn't have to
knew.
wait to hear what maybe somebody else thought it said.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our Reddit stories. So this was posted by I Love Spookies.
Me too.
Yeah, same. So they say, "Okay, so I wasn't even planning on posting this, but it's been a few weeks and I can't stop thinking about it. So here we are. Back in March, I did an overnight tour at Sweet Springs Sanitarium in West Virginia. Went with two friends, just the usual haunted road trip type thing. I've been to other haunted places and caught a few weird EVPs here and there, but nothing like this. We spent most of the night in the main building, had some equipment running, and got a few taps, the usual things. Around 1:30 a.m., our guide said we could explore the grounds on our own. That's when we decided to check out the brick building behind the hotel, the one that used to be the slave quarters. And before anyone jumps down my throat, yes, I understand the weight of going into a place like that. We weren't trying to provoke anything. We just wanted to document respectfully. So we walk in with flashlights and a digital recorder. The place is small and quiet. No windows, low ceiling. Had that kind of suffocating stillness you feel in your chest. My friend Alex starts asking questions, basic stuff like, "Is anyone here with us? Do you remember your name?" Nothing happens for a few minutes, and then my flashlight flickers once. Not a big deal, cheap batteries. But right after that, we heard three knocks, clear and deliberate from inside the room.
Mm.
We freeze. The knocks happen again, closer this time. That's when my friend Jess, who's standing near the back wall, just starts crying. like not screaming or panicking, just silent tears streaming down her face. She said, "I don't want to be here anymore," and bolts out the door. Alex and I stay behind for maybe another minute. We're trying to make sense of it all when my recorder starts making static noises, loud enough to hear in the room. Then we both hear what sounds like a door slamming right behind us. We turn around, no one was there. We ran. I'm not ashamed to say it. We caught back up with Jess back at the car, and she told us she didn't know why she was crying. That room just didn't want her there.
Yeah.
We checked the recorder the next day, and there's a voice, quiet but clear, right before the static. And it said, "You don't belong here."
Oh, God.
That building is the only place I've been where I felt not just watched, but remembered. Like whatever was in there had been waiting a long time for someone to come close enough to feel it. Anyway, believe me or not, but if you go to Sweet Springs, don't go alone. And if you step in that little brick building out back, ask for permission first.
Yeah. That's weird.
I thought, like, it wasn't over the top. Sometimes I
Yeah.
read stories and I think it's just over the top with
Right.
activity, like,
Way too much stuff.
right. Although I do think that this is a location where you could get a lot,
Yeah.
but that kind of stuff, And I have one more story for us from Reddit user Cursed and Thirsty.
Okay. Love that name.
I do too. So they say, "I've been into paranormal stuff casually for a few years, not in a provoking ghosts or collecting haunted dolls kind of way, just interested." What?
Well,
Who would do such a thing?
I don't know. That's crazy.
No. A few friends and I like to visit old, supposedly haunted places, do some light investigating, and just see what happens. Sometimes it's just a cool building and creaky floors. Sometimes it's not. This happened about 2 weeks ago at Sweet Springs Sanitarium in West Virginia. We booked an overnight visit. I had never been, but I knew the history, the resort, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, etc. Honestly, I was more interested in the architecture than anything. We were in one of the upper wings, might have been in the old nursing home section, around 1 a.m. It was just me and one friend. The others were downstairs, no fancy gear, just a flashlight and a handheld voice recorder, mostly for fun. We're walking slowly, checking out rooms, and that's when we both heard it. A voice. Low, quiet, somewhere in the hallway behind us. Neither of us could make out what it said, but it didn't sound like a full sentence, more like a phrase or part of one. Sounded male, kind of muffled. We stopped and looked at each other, like, "Did you just hear that too?" And we both nodded. We waited. A few seconds later, we heard another voice, but it didn't sound like the same one. This one was slightly louder and higher pitched. It seemed like it was coming from the other end of the hallway, but we still couldn't understand it. We didn't move, didn't say anything, just stood there trying to figure out if someone was messing with us. But here's the thing, we were the only two on that floor. The others were downstairs, and there's only one stairwell up. We would have heard them. Then it got weirder. From inside one of the rooms, we both heard what sounded like a soft moaning or humming sound. It
I
wasn't
mean,
loud.
similar to the singing
Right.
that Tanner
Hmm.
heard.
It wasn't loud. It was almost like someone humming under their breath. It was a few seconds long and then silence. We went to check the room. Empty. No breeze, no creaky pipes, just quiet. At that point, we both felt kind of off. Not scared exactly, but uncomfortable, like the air had shifted a bit. We stayed another 10 minutes, but didn't hear anything else. So we headed back downstairs. We didn't get anything on the recorder, just static in our own voices, but we both heard the same things clearly in real time. I'm not saying this was definitely paranormal. It could have been sound carrying weirdly in an old building, but it didn't feel like echoes or normal house sounds. It felt like someone was there, talking, just not to us. Anyway, I thought I'd share. I've been to a few haunted places before, but this was the first time something genuinely unexplained happened in real time.
Interesting.
I thought it was interesting too. Again, another story that wasn't over the top.
Right, and yeah, in both of those stories, a lot of that stuff that they said had that they reported is what's reported there. Like, it wasn't something
Right.
absolutely crazy that no one's ever experienced. They were things that people's reported time and time again.
Right, and even in that last story, that person is saying, "I'm not claiming this is paranormal. I'm
Right,
just saying this is what happened."
right.
Yeah.
Can't explain it.
And that brings us to the end of this episode about Sweet Springs Sanitarium.
If you liked what you heard today and all other days, then you should rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen because your support helps us out a lot and we appreciate it.
And don't forget to follow us on and TikTok at
Yes,
Not My Ghost Podcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. We post updates, photos, and more.
we too. Please go follow us. We are lonely. We need more friends. And if you want even more spooky, creepy, amazing, fun content, then you should go join our Patreon page
Yes,
because we have a lot of awesome perks for our supporters and it's a lot of fun. It's a good time.
it is a lot of fun. And you get to join the Discord and
Yeah,
talk to us, talk to Jen mainly.
mainly.
I pop in when I remember Discord exists.
Yeah. Right before we started recording this episode, I was actually responding to Danny. Hi, Danny. One of
Hi, Danny.
uh
Our very
our
first
very
patron.
first patron, and she
Yes.
was having some questions about crystals, and I was giving her some advice on crystals.
Yep.
I'm forgetting my lines, guys. Sorry. Spooky stories, if you've had any, you should email us at
You sh
notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com,
you
and you
should.
will hear it featured on a future Paranormal Postcards episode.
You absolutely will.
So go email us your stories.
Please.
Mhm.
Thank you for joining us on this chilling exploration of Sweet Spring Sanitarium. Remember, as you wander through the shadowed halls and crumbling corridors of this once grand institution, keep this in mind.
If it's not your ghost,
It's not your problem.
stay spooky.
Did you say until next time?
No. Jesus, what is wrong with me?
I don't know.
Until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.